Hey, it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. Um, I know that on my YouTube, because I have two YouTube channels, but the one is just for my own personal stuff, didn't give a notification. So I'm hoping you guys got notified. Um, this is not going to be for live readings. This is just going to be a chat to talk about spiritual things, just some things I've noticed um, energetically. Um, some things I know about the way chakras work and sort of what I find interesting related to this virus, but also kind of like talking about meditations. Who's here? And I was going to do this at 2, but I had to change it to 3 because my 7-year-old has strep throat again. Like literally just finished her antibiotics, so I guess it just didn't treat it. So we had to go to the doctor's office, and I got my temperature taken, and she got her temperature taken, and it's they have a tent out in the far back. I guess that's for people who think they might have COVID. Hi, Christine. Hola, Kay. So I'm good. I was just rambling for a few minutes to see where anybody was. So I was just saying how my 7-year-old, I had to go. The reason I had to change the time on this was my 7-year-old has strep throat again. I need to take her to the doctor. So had to accommodate, everything is good though. I haven't left the house basically since Saturday morning when I picked up my glasses, and the weather's a little warm, so we're gonna head outside in a little bit and get some fresh air in those kiddos. And we're doing what we're doing. This is technically our spring break, and it is literally the most boring spring break ever. And that's it. So I want to talk about some spiritual stuff. One of my friends did the meditation, and she said, but I thought it was somebody, but they wouldn't normally be around a bonfire. And so, hello, everybody. What I thought was interesting is something I've noticed for myself when I've gone into deep meditations and group things. Even though when I'm hearing the person, I get taken off to a totally different place than this person is directing me to. Like my guides will take me somewhere completely different. I stop hearing the actual meditation. So if that happens to you, you're not doing it wrong. You're just fine. Try to stay out of your left brain and worry about whether or not, because my friend was saying, hi, Craig, welcome. She was saying that, I know I'm scratching my face. Get over it. My hands are clean. Just kidding. So she was, my friend was saying that she couldn't picture her grandmother or somebody around a bonfire. Like none of that made sense to her. And I said, well, try to get out of your left brain and stop worrying about whether or not someone would actually be there if you knew them there, because it's just a gathering. That's it. So that's that. Try not to worry about if you go to the same place as another person. Like if you find that you're getting pulled to go in a different direction or go faster, because I've had it where I pulled faster to where I'm supposed to go. That's fine too. Like it all goes. You're good. You're good. You're doing a good job. How is everybody doing? Are you guys hanging in there? I know a lot of people, it's so funny. They're like, oh, the social distancing. Oh, I think I'm a recluse. It's just, this isn't that hard for me. I was like thinking about it normally on a normal day. Like I get up, I take care of my kids, I send them to school. I'm not doing any psychic readings, Ola K, okay? And I don't move into that direction either. Okay. It's hard. It's worth keeping other people safe. And it's really also worth not inundating our, and we start remote e-learning next week. So we will see how that is. Sorry, they were just letting me know my daughter's prescription's ready. We will see how that works out. But yeah, Ola K, I don't kind of roll in that direction of all of that. I'm not going to be discussing that today. You did the bonfire a few times. Oh, awesome, Rose. The third time you've, oh, I love that. That's amazing, Rose. That's beautiful. Yeah, it's funny, I find that, like, so I feel like I'm okay with social distancing. I don't like, again, I talk to my best friend on the phone and my mom during the day. I do workouts, I might do stuff in the morning, but I have a 3-year-old, so, like, she naps and stuff, so I have, like, a very limited time of outside time, and then I'm, like, kind of doing my kids' things and sort of more focusing on them, and so my socializing is, like, pretty minimal, texting my friends. So this is like, it is what it is. I'm not having to run to the grocery store so much, I guess. I no more normally don't stock up like crazy. So what I find interesting is, and I don't want to like talk about the virus too much, but it's just to look at there's this idea that a lot of new agey people have, you don't mind social distancing, I love getting to stay home. Yeah. Always try to find the silver lining. Stupid question. When your guides talk to you, do you actually hear them or do you just either way? So I'm trying to think about when I go into deep meditations. I feel like it's almost telepathic in deep meditations for me. Now, sometimes I hear them. I think when in my waking state, I hear them in my head more, but in meditation, it's almost more of a telepathic type thing. It can be and it doesn't really matter if really it's sort of like whatever works for you and whatever you're comfortable with. But it's definitely not a stupid question. I think that's a really smart question. Um, Forgive me. I know. I've been teaching my daughter, like, when we're out, I'm like, "Just rub your face like this." Um, so, w metaphysically speaking, and this isn't to say that, like, if you heal your chakras, all of this other stuff, but what I have noticed when I'm doing enough energy readings of people and enough things for people and just feeling into their energy, that when there is a imbalance in their chakra, they and it's for a long, long time, or if they have disease, like physical disease, it's interesting to see that there's also an imbalance in that chakra. So there is a correlation energetically speaking. Now, can I say that for sure and have it all tested? No, it's just interesting when I read it energetically. So, what I find interesting is that we're moving into a time, as they say, of enlightenment, right? So, enlightenment is going to be your upper chakras, your heart, your throat, your um, third eye, your crown chakra, like everything basically chest up. So the other thing that's happening is so your solar plexus chakra is like kind of think your stomach area. Now remember that your chakras all sort of kind of overlap. So there's like they kind of like it's not like they're not clean breaks like here it is, here it is, here it is when they show you in pictures. It's not really like that. Your solar plexus is about how you relate to the world, how the world relates to you, and your self-esteem. And there's this sort of battle, I think, going on right now too about social relations and how people interact. So it's interesting that this virus mostly affects from your solar plexus up, right? So it's not really a lower, I mean, and some people are getting it, but it's this up and it's really your heart chakra and everything up. I find that interesting, not to say that it's, again, scientific. It's just interesting to me. And so we're moving into this time of enlightenment and people sort of becoming more evolved. And I wonder if this forced time alone and in quiet forces a lot of people to become more introspective than they ever have been, to take that time to connect their mind, body, and spirit, and to do some of the healing that really needs to be done. Um, I think it's interesting. And that's part of the reason why I'm kind of doing some of these meditations. I'm going to move I'm going to start with either a heart chakra clearing meditation or solar plexus, because these two are where we often feel our anxiety and our stress is in our, like, I'll feel it when I do people's readings. I'll either feel it here in my chest or I'll feel it in my stomach. So I'm going to do a clearing for both of those. And then I'll kind of I'm going to move to the upper chakras and then I'll hit the lower ones. Sorry, I just feel like they're talking to me and wanting me to say something. That happens. What are your thoughts? I've also noticed crazy, crazy spirit activity. I know I've said that to y'all, but I've been seeing orbs. Like, when you see them fly on, like you've seen them on the screen here a couple times if you've been with me. I've seen orbs in the middle of the day with my daughters, like where I normally don't say that at all. Oh, I'm glad you like the meditation. People who heard some really amazing feedback. Like I said, my friend people are telling me about their experiences. So it's really cool and it's really beautiful. And I think that, let's see, I don't know if you guys some of you are my regulars. Sherry has been waiting and waiting and waiting for her husband to come through. And she did this meditation and he came through for her. And I felt him here during the readings, but he never talked. And I truly believe that he wanted to wait for this opportunity to do this meditation so he could come to her on his own. Are y'all having experiences or thoughts, feelings about what's going on? Shoot, I was going to give him a suggestion for like if you're not used to being a recluse like me. Oh, I don't remember now though. Oh, well, I'll think of it eventually if it's important and you need it. Please give me feedback here. It's hard to talk all by myself. I don't have anything prepared. Just hang in there. This is all I really, again, I'm going to say this on every video to remind people. I'm good. I'm good, right? I joke that I'm a recluse, but I don't know. I've always been able to like entertain myself, so to speak. Hi, Rachel. We're just hanging in there. My middle one has strep throat again. I thought, oh, we're not going to be in school. No one's getting sick, but I think Chris didn't get treated all the way. So I'll be heading out to CVS in a little bit and getting her some antibiotics. Maybe I'll pick up some new nail polish colors for them because they like having their nails painted. That's a little fun thing. I'm waiting for deliveries of arts and crafts. I know, I feel bad for her. She got it on her birthday and then it just didn't ever go away. So it is what it is, and we will make it through, and we are better off than a lot. And my husband is now day 2 of being at home finally, and I think it's going well. I basically just pretend that he's not there because he has to focus on work. What are your questions, comments, concerns? What are your experiences? If you did the meditation, what was that like? If you got the energy healing, what was that like? I'm not doing any readings today. This one is just for people to learn and to have a place to connect, because sometimes when you're opening up either psychically or spiritually, or things are crazy and you're wanting like a spiritual connection, they need a place to go. So I'm offering that as a space here to grow your own abilities. It was relaxing. Good. Y'all, after I did the energy healing, so this is the thing people don't understand about energy healing. They think that it's like I'm giving away all this energy. I'm not doing anything. It's literally rolling through me. So I get a healing even while I'm sending you guys stuff. And I was like, I felt so good after that energy healing. Like I was like, oh, that was really, I felt a weight lifted off of my heart, like not feeling everybody's stuff. So it was nice. Don't run away though. Stay with us. Ask questions. Oh, I might not stay here long if this. I need you to help me out here. Is it possible to smell things when a spirit is trying to communicate? Absolutely. Your mom smells cigarette smoke when there's no one smoking. My grandfather was a big, yep. So he's visiting. It's what is it? Not Claire Gustins. Clara Oleans, I think. I can't remember if it's Gustins or Oleans. And it's the ability to smell. You might not even get a taste of something too sometimes, where all of a sudden you can taste blueberry pie and you don't know why. That rhymed. Happy Friday. My days are running together. It all feels the same. Oh, I was going to say this. This is a really important tip. If you stay home and you're not going out a lot, you may be inclined to not want to shower, stay in your jammies, all of that stuff, because you're like, why do I have to get dressed? I don't have to go anywhere. Get dressed, get showered, because otherwise your day's run and it just feels like, so even if you're not going anywhere, just put some clothes on that are not your jammies, change, whatever it is, get yourself going. Even though I haven't gone anywhere except for today, I went to take my daughter to the doctor, so I'm not wearing my glasses today because I'm trying to, I don't know. My allergies are really bad. When I wear my contacts, my allergies get worse, but and just get up and get moving, do something for yourself, because it's important. It helps make it not feel so drab and dreary when you're spending a lot of time kind of not around people. So what was the emotion code about, Laura? I'm not familiar with it. So what I did, like, for a long time, I read a lot, and I felt like everybody was saying the same thing. So I just stopped reading and I started connecting with my guides and seeing if they told me different things. And I've gotten information that's interesting and that doesn't really kind of align with really anything I've read or heard about. And so I'm not going to share it, but detecting emotions trapped in your body. That's interesting. So that's what I feel like when I do people's energy readings. I can feel, they'll let me know if what I'm feeling that's off in a certain area is connected to this old stuff, or if it's connected to something current, and releasing that. And sometimes it's just as much as, like if you're doing a past life regression, I'll do a past life regression meditation too. Or past, like connecting with a past life. It's not really a regression. Like when I was in my late 20s, I just all of a sudden developed a fear of flying. It had nothing to do with 9/11. And I just would get this like panicky, nervous feeling. And I'd flown since I was a kid. And I finally started, so I'd have these recurring dreams where I was in some sort of aircraft. I don't know what it was. I really don't think it's from this plane of existence. And even though it was a past life, time, everything kind of happens at once, they say. So I had this dream, and finally when I let the dream come to fruition and come to the end, because I knew we would crash, that fear of flying actually totally, completely dissipated. So I really do feel like that was connected to this other lifetime. Point being, sometimes if you just acknowledge that this thing happened, that that block or whatever kind of goes away. As long as you acknowledge, like if it's a belief system that you were taught subconsciously as a child, if you sort of go back and, a trick is to like talk to your child self as an adult self and know that you're protected and that's not a true story that you were taught. That sort of helps alleviate it as well. Also therapy. Oh, very cool. And you got info about previous lives. Did you feel that you connected with those lives when they talked about them? Or did it feel totally foreign to you? I sit and look at the corner. I really probably should look at the screen. So I'm looking, but because when I watch these back, but I'm like looking to see what you're writing. If you're enjoying this, hit the like button. If not, I'll figure some other form out. I'm trying to always offer different things for people that I know I would absolutely love to have as an actual conversation with somebody who has the experience that could mentor me, that maybe I wasn't ready to fully take a class. It took me a while. It resonated. It took me a while to actually kind of delve into taking a class. But I think that's kind of how I am too, is like, if I'm unsure, I get a little hesitant, and I don't know. I just never, because there is this like, hi, Danny. So there is this like, I'm very logical and practical. And so kind of moving into the spiritual world took a minute to get there. You once did a self-hypnotherapy session and you felt very relaxed, but at the one point you took a deep breath and felt your body get lifted, sort of. I also heard a lot of chatter when that happened. Oh, congratulations. That's connecting with your guides. To this day, you're not sure what happened. You connected with your guides there. You may have felt yourself lifted because you feel yourself either moving up vibrationally or even starting to astral travel. But I know for me, like, I hate, 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 hate getting massages. Like, they are not relaxing at all because the person's really quiet, and the minute I get quiet and take a deep breath, I'm connecting it. Like, it's not relaxing for me. I move into a whole other space. So, I hate meditation. I mean, not meditation. Love meditation, hate, massages. They're the worst. Even, like, when if I go get my toes painted, 'cause I usually don't get manicures because they just don't last on me. Um, I still end up feeling all of their family members around. It's really hard to quiet everybody down. You keep asking for signs to help you development, you're not getting anything. Um, I just feel like you are and you're second guessing them. You were told in a past life you were a doctor in London, you're fascinated with medicine and seem to make instant friends with nurses. Oh, that's really cool, Rose. You were told you have deja vu if you went to London. Yeah, I mean, it would be deja vu actually, so that's pretty cool. I mean, if you watch any documentaries, do you feel connections to that? Do you ever like, if you just kinda look at stuff, does it feel familiar? Oh, you've been laying down, eyes shut, not sleeping, always taking a long time before I fall asleep. I've been seeing things, face shows up like someone bent over me. Oh, good Lord. Yes. You're connecting in with guides and also spirits. I did, I don't want to give too much information because it was sort of on the down low, but there's a financial museum in New York City, and a friend of mine had worked there, and she asked if we'd do a clearing because they were having, I don't know, they were having a hard time, whatever. I don't even remember the year that this was. This is before I was ever married. And so a group of us, like of three of us, went there and did this clearing there. And it was really funny because one of the energies was like, hi, like right in my face. I was like, dude, step back. So sometimes spirits will lean over you when they find out that you can see them and connect with them because they're like fascinated that they can be seen. Like, so as much as we're fascinated that we can connect with them, they're pretty like, oh my God, I would, um, I know when I was a kid, I would fall asleep at night and see shadow people all, I mean, like a crowd of people standing around me. And I always like science logicked it away and said, it's just, what did I say? I was like, "Oh, it's just my eyes adjusting to light." I'm a very science-oriented person. I really like science. I like medicine. I think the human body is this fascinating machine. Um, and I don't know. I mean, it's loved ones, it's guides. Sometimes it's people you don't know from this lifetime, so they won't feel familiar. It scares you at night. So the reason why you see them at night is because there's not as much input. So if you just breathe, um, and wait, I wanted to see the other thing that Seven Sky Ocean said you the short video, so you're clairvoyant. So if you're getting like a picture or a short video, that's all clairvoyance. So you can just say, meet me in my dreams. That sometimes when I was first kind of opening up and stuff, and I was like, and I realized what it was that was happening, I was like, okay, now either meet me in my dreams or find another time because I need my sleep. And that's what you tell them because you are still, while we're all these spiritual beings, you're still in the human experience. You still have to be here on earth and experience this experience because that's what you came here to do. And your physical body needs rest and sleep. Um, I would find actually when I would meet with some people that there are some people who start to get into this and they become so spiritually connected that they like are constantly floating in the ethers and you like have to pull them down with a balloon. So it's nice to be there and make all these connections, but remember you have to find balance in it because you're supposed to have human experience too. Um, so I don't ever recommend anybody's meditations because um I feel like it's so personal, like, the person's voice has to be just right because there's been people who I loved their meditations and then other people recommend ones to me, and I was like, "I cannot stand that person's voice to, like, get comfortable enough." Like, it's like, whatever it is, I'm like So, like like my ear gets this weird twinge in it, and it makes me like I'm not trying to look stupid, but that's what it makes me feel like. So, how do you talk back? Just think in your head. They can hear you. You don't have to say it out loud and sound like a crazy person. This is like I'm the practical. My friend Tony and I used to run like an expo type thing. It was called Practical Mysticism because I believe in being practical. I don't think that we need to all run out and buy crystals and stones, all of that stuff. Yes, you can talk to spirit telepathically. You don't have to talk to them out loud. Exactly. Yes. In fact, most of the time I don't talk to anybody out loud. And if I used to say, because it used to drive me nuts, the only reason I go, okay, here is because sometimes I think you think I'm just like sitting here, but I'm having a full conversation. So I really do that more for you than for them. Because you guys don't like, I'll just like sit like this and I look like I'm staring and doing nothing. So I try to say things out loud, but normally like at home, if they're chatting with me, nobody knows that I'm in, or if I'm out in public and it's just me and them, I don't ever talk out loud. I think that's weird and creepy. But if you do it, more power to you. My personal feeling though is it's weird and creepy. So Laura, you can connect with your higher self instead of with the intention of it being your guide. That same meditation I did the other day, instead of it being an intention with your higher guide or a loved one, ask to speak to your higher self. You can also ask to connect with your higher self. Set the intention before you go to sleep at night. By the way, Seven Sky Ocean, I still don't know who, like 90%, I'm just kidding, not 90%. A huge chunk of the spirits that I see around me, I don't know who they are. Sometimes they're pass-throughers. Like I told a story when I lived in Hoboken. I was laying in bed and it was late at night. My husband was already asleep and the door was open to our hallway. And I just kept seeing spirits like walking down my hall. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And my grandfather popped his head in and he goes, wherever you are, it's like Grand Central Station, but don't worry, we'll keep you safe. So I don't know if I'm like a portal or if I don't know, but I'm seeing stuff all the time. I see stuff all the time around my house and I know it's not connected to my house. It's like, all right, cool. Like, enjoy the passage. I don't know. And like I said, the most interesting thing I've been noticing lately is seeing orbs, like when I'm outside, like right in front of me. So my house too, but I saw one like literally outside. It was the craziest thing. And it was not a mirror reflection in a car going by because there was nothing around me. Yeah, the reason why you're more connected when you're super tired is because you're not on the lookout to like shut things out. Like you're not filtering out as much. You aren't able to when you're really tired. So that's part of that. And why it happens, a lot of stuff happens at nighttime. It's because there's just not so much activity energetically from the human world. So they're able to kind of come through. Sherry, welcome, dear. I'm so glad you had such a beautiful experience. I actually shared a little bit about your feedback and I thought that was so lovely. Oh, yeah, that happens. Sometimes they do things and you're like, ugh, and like, so Danny said, I saw someone running to me fast and it kind of scared you and you lost the connection. That happens too, but they'll come back. So when you're asking, how do you open up and you're getting signs, maybe that's the sign. Perhaps they're showing you in major ways in order to get you to not ignore it. And just don't worry so much about it coming. It will come and it will come in time and the way you're comfortable with. It feels like it's going to be pretty slow over the next 2 to 3 months. And I feel like they're actually protecting you from that because because you are empathic and there's so much stuff going on right now energetically that it's like almost hard to quiet down. So consider this next 2 to 3 months just a little bit of a quiet time for you, but then it feels like it's going to pop and start growing, not in leaps and bounds, but at a nice smooth rate. I'm happy you made it too, Sherry. It's so funny. If I saw you guys out in public, I'd have no clue who you were. It's so weird to like, I basically talk to myself, not really, but like, I can't see these little pictures. I have 41-year-old eyes. So that's why I'm always leaning in. um, so do you know that I always joke around that if I saw famous people in real life, I'd have no clue who they were, and I'm not kidding you. When I lived in the city, I went on a date before, well before I met my husband. I went on this date with this guy, and we were at a movie, and he's like, "Do you know who just held your door open?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Willem Dafoe," and I'm like, "Huh?" Like, no clue. I was like, "Wow, that was nice of him." Like, um, and well, I hope you would know me, and I'd hope you'd feel comfortable saying hello and introducing yourself. And then there's been other times where I've seen people. We went and saw. Do you guys know who Tenacious D is? Went and saw them at King's Theater. By the way, if you ever have a chance to see them, even though they're kind of goofy music, they put on such an incredible performance. It is so much fun. They're hilarious. They're great. But one of the guys, not Jack Black, I don't even know the other guy's name. He was like outside walking down the line. I'm like, I did recognize him because I was like, I think that's, and then I realized it afterwards. But like Cindy Lauper walked in front of our car one time, and my husband said something. He's like, "Oh, that's," and I was like, "Oh, she had purple hair." So I hope that if you meet me out and you know who I am, say hello. I would love to meet you guys in real time, 3D. You lose focus. How can you get that same connection back? All right, Danny, you had a vision of a celebrity and saw them change like a rotting piece of fruit. Ooh. It could be. It'd be interesting. I won't ask who it was, but it'd be interesting because I could read it for you if you felt comfortable sharing. Like when I go to concerts, I've just focused so much on the band, so I'm not focusing on people around me. And so I'll see a lot of their family members pop up. It's really interesting. And I'll see their health issues too pop up. Okay, you lose focus. So here's what I found. When I start to lose focus, I find that that's my guide's way of pulling me into a different direction that I'm not either, I'm not ready for that yet. Tell me an example of when you lose focus. Are you losing focus when you're doing a meditation, or he played in the original Ghostbusters? What's his name? Do you know? Oh, one of that guys, what's his name? Dan Aykroyd. He's actually a spiritualist. So he like grew up in a spiritualist household. So his family is like, he's all into this. One of them passed away recently. The guy who played, is it Egon, or the tall guy with the glasses? You're welcome. A lot of people are still like, I talk to people, it's really interesting. And people, what they're familiar with the psychic stuff is much more Hollywood bound, and like the way I did wasn't a pilot. It was like I filmed something for this guy once. He asked me to do and be the psychic in his thing. And it's just different to learn what people have these interesting ideas about what being psychic is, and like make it more Hollywoody and kitschy, and it's much more normal than that. Yeah, look it up. Here, wait, I could look it up. I've got my phone right here. So Sky, are you still here? Seven Sky Ocean? Because I was looking to see about like a specific, I know that some of y'all are working, and so this is just kind of popping in and out when you can. You want to learn how to do meditation, you don't have a clue. So the first thing about meditation is throw out any of your ideas of what meditation is. Because people have this idea that it's like sitting like a Buddhist on a mountain in sheer silence, and it's not. Meditation is, when people call it mindful meditation, here, you're just laying down. Meditation sometimes I saw a hand pointing or something. Oh, okay. So sometimes it's not necessarily that you're losing focus or doing something wrong. It's just that they're sort of passing through, and it's more you acknowledging the experience, and it'll grow as it goes. I know when I first started doing readings, I would just get little blips of things here and there. And as I started getting more comfortable and like sort of building my vocabulary, it would happen, like the connection would last longer and longer, and the connection was easier to make. So, and even when I first started doing readings, I get really exhausted after doing them. And I only really get exhausted now after I do psychic fairs if the chairs are too close together or set up not right. Like where I'm in line with other people, because I literally start reading not only my client, but I'm reading like three people behind me, because, and it's not my fault. I'm not, it's just, I get that much information. So it's Bill Murray. Oh, that's how I was trying to think of his name. I'm like, is it? So one of the guys passed away. Bill Murray. Well, I mean, it could be, because I always feel like doesn't take the best care of himself. It can also mean this. So you have to know what it means, like, and just trust your own intention, whatever. Like, so there's like that feeling about what it means. So trust that. The other thought I got is that it could also mean him, like more of a spiritual sense of things rotting away. I always say just trust, 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 trust. Apparently, I'm probably buffering. Am I buffering? Said my connection was unstable. You guys here with me still? Can I get some thumbs up? Why would I get a message that I can't deliver? I've gotten them a lot of times. It gives me a fuller picture of what's going on. Say what one more time? Okay. What was I saying? Oh, the one thing I was saying was meditation is, I started rambling and then I lost somebody asked me about meditation. So I'm going to go back to that. Meditation is literally just the state of being completely present. So you can do a meditation while you're eating, and it's not about silent, whatever. It's paying attention to the smell and the texture of every bite as you chew, paying attention to the way your body feels, the way the fork sounds. That's a form of meditation. Doing yoga, doing exercise, just fully paying attention to your body. Yoga is easier because if you're doing some things you can't really, but if you're doing a slower yoga, what do they call it? I can't remember the name of it. But if you do a slower yoga, you can pay attention to the way your muscles feel, your body feels, your breath, everything moving in and out, and you're fully focused. That's meditation. So this idea that meditation is just this one thing of us being silent is flawed. And I couldn't for the longest time do quiet meditation. I needed to be guided into something and then have quiet, but just to sit there and focus on my breath, I had too many other things going on. So find what works for you. Don't think that there's only one way or that you're doing it with training wheels or whatever. It's just, we're all different and you have to sort of find what works. Okay. You're not supposed to deliver that. You have to be careful with the messages you deliver, especially things like that, because it might just be one path that they could go. It doesn't necessarily mean that's the path that they're going to go. So don't have them call that in. I'm trying to think. So, I mean, I've had where I've seen people and they've told me they have lung cancer and things like that, but it's not mine to deliver because I could be wrong and send them. You have to be very mindful about the things that you're delivering. Sometimes it's just for you. Why? I'm not sure. I don't always know why I get things that I'm not supposed to share. Sometimes it's for a bigger picture and a bigger story. Oh, about that one in particular, what they said was, if it comes to fruition, what it is that you're supposed to understand that you approach it with non-judgment, that it isn't a terrible, horrible, bad decision by this person. That it's sort of a part of the way the universe is, and there's a story behind it that's bigger than you can understand. And sometimes, and there also might be, to provide healing in a way, but from the other side of it. Right. So sometimes it is you have to do your meditation, what works for you, because there is no right and wrong. Hi, Jazz Hands. Welcome. Jazz Hands. Sorry. How do I know for sure it's not my subconscious mind? Your subconscious mind is sort of your lower ego driven one, right? So we'll call it your ego. And your higher self, when the messages come through, there's no negativity attached to it. There's no anxiety. It's just a very calm sense of knowing. When it's your ego, your subconscious, or your lower self, there's all other kinds of things attached into it. And it's usually nervousness, fear, lower level energies. So that's sort of how I know. And sometimes it's to prepare you for it. That's right. Or to help prepare that somehow it feels connected to the family. The other part I feel like is like there is a chance for intervention somehow, but not for you to like stop the accident, but maybe to connect them to something more spiritual. Sort of like introducing her to something more spiritual. Rose, I feel like there was a grandmother energy connected to that. And again, I feel like it was sort of to prepare you, like Rosewater said. And Rose had said that she knew her nephew was going to pass 3 years before it happened, and like mentioned it to her husband and brushed it off and never understood why she got that. Sometimes it's to prepare you so that when it happens, you understand again that it's not oh my God, how could God punish us this way? It's more of this is sort of a part of the plan and that person's journey here, that soul's journey here. Oh, that's hilarious, Sherry. Oh, that's funny. I guess I told her, Dennis had said, don't forget to take your pills. I don't remember half the stuff I tell you guys during readings, but I love that. Thank you. Your subconscious mind is still sort of connected to your lower self, right? So stuff sits in your subconscious, like your negative self-beliefs that you don't understand where they came from. That's all subconscious. So your higher self is totally separate from that. And that's still kind of your ego is connected to your subconscious more so than your higher self. Your higher self and your intuition are totally different. Your intuition and your subconscious are totally different. How do you get the hearing, the clairaudience? I think that grows in time. So it's not something, I mean, you can set the intention with your guides and say, I'd like to open that up. I wish I could say this is exactly how you do it. I always say, set the intention, ask your guides, tell them you'd like to start hearing things. And I know that sounds like a strange, but it is that simple, truly. I actually feel like yours will open up slowly in time, but it's going to be, I still feel like it's almost 3 years out to where you really start being comfortable with that. Get really strong in your clairvoyance and comfortable with that. And then the rest of it comes. And I actually feel like you'll go from clairvoyance and claircognizance then to clairaudience. I kind of always had all of them. I don't know. I just sort of have left it at like, however you want to communicate, I don't care, except for I don't like things moving around. Like, I don't like when they physically move stuff around. I've in seances in the spiritualist church, we have, like, it's like a horn. It's not a real horn, but it's like a cone, basically, whatever, and we'll put it in the center on a table and we'll light candles. And it's basically so that there's physical movement of the object. I think only on one seance that I've done has that ever happened. And it didn't scare me. But when I'm around my house, like I don't want things wrestling and moving around. That annoys me. I always yell at my guides for that out loud. I yell at them like, you got to cut that crap out. I can't stand that. Is it normal to have clairaudience and lose it, then that happen? It's not abnormal, right? So it can happen because maybe it freaked you out a little bit or whatever you got kind of, so then you kind of shut it down subconsciously, and that's your ego shutting that down. Wait, what 3 things? Oh, for you. I think I said first you have your clairvoyance, right? And then your claircognizance, which is your crown chakra, which is the clear knowing. You'll just know things. So it'll go for your third eye is going to open first, which you have now. Then your cognizance, your crown chakra opens up, and then it's clairaudience. And I feel like clairaudience is about 3 years down the road for you, like to where you're really comfortable with it. Doesn't mean it won't happen before then. I should looking at the time because I got to go get my daughter's medicine. Music for the vibe. Wait, you said you can never decipher the two. I am doing well, Albert. Thank you for joining us. Are you on school online right now? How is that going? Your father used to call you Cupcake as a child a few years ago. I found, oh, how do they do that? It could be that it was there and they brought your attention to it. That's often what happens, is something's already there and they're pulling your attention to it. It's not that they just magically make something appear. Though I will say I have had things disappear and reappear. I have no clue how they do that. That's going to be one of the first things I figure out when I get on the other side, is like, show me what you're doing on this side. And that's claircognizance. So the thing about intuition and psychic abilities. So intuition is basically knowing with no logical explanation of how you know. That's what it is. So you don't always have the logic there. Same for my daughters. So we will see. May it go well for you. You do think you're psychic, but by any means, or intuitive, but you can sit with a person for less than 5 minutes and just the vibe from that person, you can feel that they're a nice person or not. Yeah. And that is your intuition. So listen, everybody is intuitive. Everybody. Now, not everybody has a really strong intuition because they've shut it down. They don't, for whatever reason. Some people are more naturally inclined than others, but everybody can develop it. I am doing well. I have one that's sick. She's strep throat again, so I have to go. I'm gonna be done here in just a few minutes because I have to go get her medication so she can start feeling better. I was waiting for them to text me, and they texted me in the middle of this to tell me it was ready. So you used to see your grandfather when you're little, but haven't seen anything since. So a lot of times what happens is when kids are about 5 years old, if they don't live in an environment that sort of supports this development and connection to their intuition, it's not that it's gone forever. It's just that it sort of becomes not second nature for them. It's not a sixth sense anymore. It's not natural. I fortunately, while I didn't have like awesome growing up, I never shut down my intuition. Number one, my father's side of the family was pretty open about talking about being a little bit more mystical, but I think they just kind of kept me comforted when things were like kind of rough and not great. And so I never really lost that. Your grandfather's still around you, though. It's not that that he isn't, and you can start asking to see him more. Albert, I think it can. So he asked if vegetarianism or veganism increases your connection to spirit. Here's what I'll tell you. I am not a vegetarian or vegan. I enjoy ribs and brisket and chip beef sandwich and all of that. I like chicken, I like turkey. I'm, non-discriminating. What I will tell you is I can tell a difference between how an animal is raised when I eat it. When I say thanks and you say grace, it isn't because you're thanking this big, beautiful God in the sky for the blessings it bestows upon you. I thank, even for vegetables, all of the people that had to come together in order for me to have this meal on my plate. And I ask for blessings upon them. And I thank the soul of the animal for giving its life for me to have nourishment and energy. So you can be psychic without having to be vegetarian. Can it lift you up more? Yeah. But if you think about it, if you believe that the trees have energy and everything has energy and everything matters and you can talk to plants to grow them, it might not be that different than animals, right? I mean, I know someone's going to argue with me on this, but I'm just speaking on a pure energetic level. Wait, guidance with you. Wait, do I have some other guidance for you on what? I'm sorry, I missed. Can you just clarify that one, Sky? So I don't think that people reincarnate that quickly. However, if you remember, we are all part of a collective. Then there's always part of that spirit that you can connect in with if they have reincarnated. But I don't think we reincarnate as quickly as most people think we do. I think that sometimes they don't come through because they're doing their own healing. They don't just become these totally enlightened beings once they cross over. I also don't think that they come through because they're not meant to come through at that time. Either they can't offer any healing or message that's helpful. Or like with Miss Sherry, her husband didn't come through because the message was supposed to come from him directly. And that was really important for her experience to understand and have true validation that there is something more than this flesh and bone that exists. That's my experience, at least. So what's interesting too is when someone doesn't really believe in stuff here, and then they cross over, they have a harder time connecting than when somebody who is very spiritual, like every single one of you who's here open to this right now, will connect quicker and easier once you've crossed over than somebody who doesn't. How do you connect better? How should you work on this? Okay, so meditation is great. Setting the intention is a huge thing. Acknowledgement is really big. So the minute you have, if you're getting these messages through, you use your clairvoyance. So you're going to say, as soon as you get one, say, okay, thank you, or ask questions. So if it comes and you're like, I don't know what that means, say, can you clarify it? Would you give me clarity? Or will you validate that for me? They'll find a way to validate it, whether it comes through a conversation with somebody else, a radio, a music a song on the radio, whatever, however you listen to it. It just happens. It comes through. But a hugest thing is if somebody knocks on your door and you don't answer it, it's not going to go anywhere. And they sort of, when you're first starting out, they don't divulge a lot. You have to ask, it's 20 questions. You kind of have to go, well, what does this mean? Well, how does it mean? And sometimes they're going to tell you and sometimes they won't. But that's the best I can tell you is, and write stuff down. If you start to get a vision, write it down, because then when it happens, you're not questioning did I really did I get it that exact way or whatever. It's keeping a journal is helpful, or keep it in your phone, whatever. But I sort of physically like writing things like that. All right. I am going to, if anybody has any last little things they want to question or anything like that, otherwise I'm going to go because I really need to go get this medication. And honestly, dreading the doctor's office was so nice because there was no wait. It was there's no one there. And I don't want to go to the store. Yeah, you can be in the same room with others. In fact, some of my favorite meditations are in huge group settings. Our church does them. That's why I'm trying to offer stuff, is because since I'm a reverend, trying to offer other ways to get your connections. I love group meditations. And we were taught actually in New York City, because you're going to hear the streets below. You're going to hear, like, a lot of the buildings are heated with boilers, right? So there's huge pipes on the corners of the room, and there'll be water that runs up through them, and they'll make noise. And you're sort of taught to, like, every time you hear a sound, it drops you deeper in rather than it becoming a distraction and pulling you away. Thanks, Rosewater. Can I be in the same room? Oh, no, you usually won't be connecting to them. You'll sort of be in your own world, because I've done huge, really deep meditations, and they're all experiencing their own thing, and you're doing your own thing. Me too. Thank you, guys and girls. Sherry, I'm just really glad that you found me and felt comfortable enough to try that out and see what happens, because sometimes people get a little nervous about it. So I'm ever so grateful that you did find me and that you had such an incredible experience. That means a lot to me too, because that also actually like lets me know that I'm doing this for a reason. That I know everybody's like, get your numbers and get your subs on YouTube and be huge and whatever. But really, I just want to help people. And I'm not worried if it's one person or 50 or whatever. It's not always about the celebrity. Sky, did you try? I have a guided meditation that I just did that's pretty cool, and it'll connect you in with your guides or your loved ones. And they might even, sometimes when your guides come through, they give you information to help you and to help validate you. So just try it and see what you think. It's a 15-minute meditation. It's nothing. It's easy to get through. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, all right. Stay healthy. Wash your hands. Don't sneeze or cough on anyone. Be kind. Oh, remember, everybody's projecting all kinds of garbage lately. Just remember, if someone's being crabby with you, it is not about you. All right. Y'all have a good day. I will see you Sunday night at my regular time, because where the heck else am I going to be but in my house? All right. All right. Best wishes. If you want a private reading, it's Annalisa at myspiritualfriend.com. My YouTube is at myspiritualfriend. My Twitter is at myspiritualfrnd. No IE. The no IE is not included either. All right. Enjoy yourselves. Be good. Bye-bye.